Welcome back, dear viewers, in this segment of Nile Cruise and of course Egyptian Arabesque, jewels of arts, as was dubbed by scholars of geometric art and traditional craftsmen to describe these ornaments, were endured all windows and doors in Egypt's cities and towns. Even lanes and alleys and slums were, of course, and gates as well, and mashabiyas, and even sitting rooms were endured by those artistic decorations that became famous in the old times. There are no opportunity literatures about Arabesque, nor have its craftsmen leak some of its secrets to future generations, unfortunately. In an age when the medicine control every craft and trade handicrafts has become a risk of course, the situation that we have reached, dear viewers. And in this context, dear viewers, we have with us a wonderful guest, and we are honored to host our prominent guest, Rana Ihab, heritage researcher, to tell us more about this art, which is Arabesque, as I said in my introduction, dear viewers. A very good day, Rana, and it's a pleasure always to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, Rana, and let's go back hundreds and hundreds of years ago and talk about the history of Arabesque. When and why this kind of art arose?
Actually, I wanted to mention something is very important, that it's mixed. Sometimes people, when they say Arabesque, it's meaning the shell artifacts, but this is not true. The meaning of Arabesque, or the word of Arabesque, have a lot of meaning with it. But the most famous one and the most correctly one about the Arabesque is the inscriptions. So this kind of inscriptions wrote by a florid decoration, this is called the inscription. So when and where this started from the time of the Abbasid period, and it came to Egypt with the Ahmad ibn Tulun, and this started from here to publish around the world. So this is the idea. Started from the time of Ahmad ibn Tulun, the Abbasid period in Egypt.
Rana, how is the Arabesque linked to the Islamic world?
I wanted to mention something, that all the Islamic world under the one king or under the one sultan. So everything done in any place around this Islamic world, it's done also in the other. So for example, the inscriptions or the Arabesque started from Samarra. So from Samarra in Iraq to here. So this is the link here. I wanted to achieve something like in this place, to be in my country, sultan or prince, wanted to achieve a greatment architecture like that. So this is the link. This is here the connection between the Islamic art or Islamic architecture between all the countries.
Why was the Arabesque linked to, most of the time, to Quran? Some of the Quranic verses are written and even drawn on this kind of art.
I wanted to mention that if we enter any historic architecture, mosque, madrasas, schools, anything, we will find around the ceiling inscriptions. So these inscriptions from verses of the Quran, and I wanted to make it different from what all the people see in the Coptic inscription all the time. So they start to use the Arabesque here. The Arabesque is using the decoration of the inscription itself, and this inscription ended and beginning with the flowers. So this is something is very, very important in the Islamic in general, or the Islamic. So when I modify something or add something to my art, especially if we're talking about a religion like Islam, so I need to add something special to the verses of the Quran. So I added this flowers and this Arabesque for these inscriptions.
Okay, Rana, what are the frequent shapes Arabesque artists used to use?
We have many of them, but the most popular one is the fluoridated inscription Arabesque and Salus inscription Arabesque, which mean triad. So it's a contain of flowers based on planets and kinds of leaves. So here the most famous one, like what we have in Sultan Hassan, Madrasat Sultan Hassan, and the Mosque of Ahmad ibn Tulun. So this is the most famous and the most popular ones in the Arabesque or in the Islamic inscription.
You've mentioned that the Arabesque art developed, and we knew this kind of art through the Abbasid era. How it's developed throughout history, and what are the famous Arabesque art, the famous piece of art?
I wanted to mention the Arabesque is take 3 stages. Those 3 stages different in the design. So for example, in the first stage, when the natural give them the inspiration to start the stages with it, so they just doing something little bit to be a plant, a flower, similar flower. In the second stage, they start to give another meaning for this inscriptions or this kind of descriptions. So they start to end and the beginning with unended flowers. And the third stage and the last one, it's completely developed to become from my inspiration. So how I will, I imagine the planets on my, or the flowers on my mind, then I don't care if this is really in our natural or not. So this is the last stage. I don't have something to take from it. I depend on my mind and what's come in my mind from this inspiration.
Rana, what is the difference between mashrabiyya and mashrafiyya?
Something is very good because some people mentioned mashrafiyya is the same as mashrabiyya, but actually they are different. Mashrafiyya, it's a wooden building attached to the building itself. So it's a wood and it have a window. For this reason, it's called mashrafiyya. You can supervise from it anyone to look for. So it's founded in the old houses and the palaces, because the design of the old houses is different from ours now. So they have this wooden attached to the building to be open on the court. So anyone inside the house can see. So this is mashrafiyya, and the mashrabiyya, it's with this window attached is something semi-rounded to it to put the pottery of water to keep it cold or it's hot in the summer or in the winter. So this is the difference between mashrafiyya and mashrabiyya.
Okay, and how was Arabesque in Egypt conveyed to other countries?
Actually, if we look to this question, is very important because, as we said, wow, Arabesque is one of the most important kinds of art. As we mentioned, this is the jewel of art in the Islamic. So, and we talk about the Egyptian. Here is the idea. If we look through all our history, we will find that Egyptian people is clever from the early beginning in carving and in making statues, making shapes. So if we look at each time, so for example, in the time of ancient Egyptian people, they made the perfect statues, which we can find in all the museums. And also, if we go into the Coptic art, we will find massive icons, wonderful icons. And here we will find the inscriptions. So the idea here in the Egyptian people, they are clever enough to create something unusual. For that reason, we have here in Egypt masterpieces in the Islamic art. So if we go into Madrasa of Sultan Hassan, people called it as the 4th pyramid of Egypt, because it's an inscription, it's design. So the Egyptian artist played a very important role. He is clever enough to create something we didn't have in the world except one.
Okay, Rana, why the Egyptian artisans are the most skilled despite the prevalence of Arabesque art across Arab and European countries?
As I mentioned, this is a very important. The Egyptian artist is very clever. Something we can doing something special with them. So here, this is what I mentioned. That's it.
Rana, why are the Egyptian artisans are the most skilled despite the prevalence of Arabesque in, of course, the Arabesque art across Arab and European countries?
I wanted to mention that Arabesque was invented in Arabic or Islamic countries. They didn't.
It's called Arabesque?
Yes. This is Arabesque. The meaning of Arabesque is foreign words, European words. But actually it's started here in Islamic countries. So here is the idea. And one what make the people who come to Egypt and the Orientalists, when they say something, it's not usual as they say in their countries. So they mentioned this is something called Arabesque. It's divided to be something invented by Arabs. So the Arabic people or the Islamic people or the Islamic artisans go to these European countries and make our art there. So why the Egyptian is the most skilled? Because the art is running in their blood. So this is the idea here. Egyptians is very clever from the old time to create something massive and masterpieces.
Of course, Arabesque was very famous in old ages, but nowadays it's not that popular, especially among the younger generation. So how we could or how we can preserve this important art and heritage?
Most of our art now is a decline because of machines. So the machines played or take the role of the human making. For that reason, we have a place here in Egypt. Any tourist, when he visits Cairo, especially he wants to go Khan el-Khalili, the place of the artifacts. So we can preserve this by making special places for those talented people. We can create centers for them. This is actually what the country is doing now. So those are our heritage, those people. If I replaced the people with the machines, it will be something very disgusting, because actually if we I mentioned in the stages of the developing of this arabesque, so it comes from the inspiration. Step by step I decided to make something unusual in this part. So machines is just taking an orders to create something I ordered for. Where is the rule of the human here? So we need to learn more people about this artifact. We need to just keep going with the people and learn at them, and also enough awareness for the people who's living in this area, because if we're going for the big one or the head of this people, we will find him is very old man, and the new generation want to do something easily. Okay, this is something need the thinking and need the inspiration. I don't want to do this. So if I take him to the place and I give him an ideas how it's something important, not only for your days or for your job or something. No, this is important for you, for the all generations will come.
Rana, do you think that this important art and which is an important factor capable of attracting tourists to Cairo?
Yes, for sure, for sure. If we doing something and I make a centers how to learn the people doing this artifact, will be something great, because all the people now searching about something to doing easily in home, or this is maybe beside my job. I talented in doing something like that. So if we're making a centers for that, and we create, actually we have a lot of workshops here and shops here in Egypt doing this. So this is, as I mentioned before, Khan el-Khalili is the center of all of these things. So this is what attracts the tourists when they visit Cairo. In their minds, Cairo is the town or the city of the thousands of minarets. So they need to see how this massive creating happened. So they're going to Khan el-Khalili and see.
Okay, Rana, if we talk about this art, what is the most famous piece of arabesque in Egypt, and even in this place, the Islamic Museum?
In the Islamic Museum, we have here in the Umayyad and the Fatimid period some inscriptions from the arabesque. And if we talk about masterpieces in the building or architecture itself, we're going to talk about the Sultan Hassan, the mysterious writing there. Until this moment, some people start to doing their studies or their PhD, their MAs about these inscriptions, how the artist just created this. And we have a lot of things here in the Umayyad and the Fatimid period from this period.
Rana, what are the challenges that played a role in the elimination of the handicraft of arabesque?
They didn't find the support. This is something so.
Did they find the handicraft?
Yes, the handicraft is still nowadays it's clear, but they didn't find the support from some people around them. They say, "Did you doing something? This is something. It's old. Why you are doing this?" So this is one of the challenges. They need a support. They need someone to give them an inspiration. They didn't need a teach or something like that, but they need a workshop, a places they can work on it easily. Even the tools they working with, they need to be developed little more, not to convert it to machines, but they need to convert it to be something easily to work with. So if I have a piece take around a month, with developed tools, it could be take 2 weeks or 3 weeks. This will be better and be more in the creation of things.
If you speak about the beginning of this art, of course it was linked to the Islamic era. Why they used this type of art and why it was their unique art?
This is unique art because the first thing is used in Arabic, and the Arabic is not a famous language in this time. And when they start to walking around them, if they found the planets, for example, in the Islamic, I can't make a statues, I can't make icons like what we have in the Coptic art. So I need something amazing, something could be teach a lot of people, and something going with my religion without any script, describe it or something like that, interrupt it or something like that. So here is the idea. Here is the idea is coming from my mind. Okay, I can use the plants, I can use the animals around me, I can use a lot of things and make something not happened before in the history. So this is here the idea.
Rana Ihab, researcher, thank you very much for joining us today and welcome to Nile Cruise.
Thank you so much for receiving, and thanks for your wonderful smiles.
Thank you so much, Rana. And dear viewers, you're still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV. Stay tuned, we'll be right back from the Museum of Islamic Art.